the Aura Fury podcast. We're back after a little bit of a break, and we have actually met some new friends over at DreamHack Dallas, and we're very excited to share their insight with you as well as the incredible projects that they've been working on. The name of the nonprofit is Rights to Unmute, and they have some awesome things going on. And I'm going to let you, let them introduce themselves right now to you.
I guess I'll go first. Well, I'm Kristen. I am the CEO and co-founder of Rights to Unmute. I started this with Steph, and she'll introduce herself, but mainly I have a marketing background. I come from the gaming industry in a lot of different ways. My mission in life has really just been empowering all of the gamers that are out there, whether you're male, female, non-binary, everybody, and just seeing that the internet is such a terrible, terrible place for people who aren't white cis men. And even for white cis men, it's getting worse. And, just very excited to be a part of being able to be a change on both the sides, both in my professional career and for Unmute. But I'll hand it over to Steph, who can introduce herself as well.
My name's Steph, or Steffy Evans. Actually, funny enough, I don't like when people call me Steffi, but that's my username. But here we are, sticking through it. So I'm a content creator. I play Call of Duty for a living. As you know, it's a little rough on that side. So I experience a lot of the harassment that goes on in gaming every single day and every single day in this space. And Krista reached out to me about starting a nonprofit. I've been wanting to start an org myself, and she came with the idea for the nonprofit, and I was like, I'm in. So we started making it about a year ago now, and we released in February, and it's been going amazing. I'm COO, which is so crazy to say. It's a cool title, So the reason for this, the reason for me wanting to start this is because I deal with harassment on the daily. I get doxxed, I get harassed, I get it all. So I know what it's like. I portray what's really going on through my content. And that's kind of how we started Rights to Unmute. Windi?
Awesome.
Windi, you gonna say hi?
Sorry.
We gotta take that.
I thought you were gonna keep going.
We're taking the social
she was doing a great job there. So
keep going.
Yeah, I'm Windi or Brian. I'm, I guess, the Discord moderator, staff member. Whatever Kristen asked me to do, I basically do. Or Steffi. That's just I'm just the catch-all, I guess, more or less. So it's just trying to help them.
Windi's the
succeed.
backbone of our community. Let's be real.
I don't know if that's I don't know if that's true or not, but in general, they do an awesome job doing what they do, and so I just try to support them the best that I can to make sure that their vision and their thoughts come executed the way that they want them.
thanks for sharing it. It's nice to meet you, Steffi and Kristen. Obviously, I've met Windi before. We actually met at Windi.
I said correct, yeah.
Okay, I thought you said I thought I said it wrong for a second there.
No.
But we met over at DreamHack, and we've had a chance to actually chat in Discord on a couple of different occasions. And I've heard some awesome things that you've been up to, so it doesn't sound like you're giving yourself enough credit. So
I know, for real.
He never
give
does.
yourself credit here. You stand for exactly what we do, and you're giving the exact same message out to everyone. And you're a great help. Not definitely. I order him around. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding.
What's the link?
All right. So right before we get into the questions, real quick, I am your host, Jacob, also Econ Brony from Aura Fury, one of the board members. And then we also have Alex.
Yeah, I'm Alex, also known as Plexus on the Discord, and also one of the board members.
Awesome. So getting into the questions, first one I've got for you is, can you tell us more about the inspiration of the founding of Rights to Unmute?
Sure.
And any one of you can take it.
I mean, I'll start it off usually, and then Steph comes in with her content bit. But, so I am an elder millennial, if you will. So I essentially grew up with the inception of the internet and gaming before then. So from my perspective, I've watched the industry that I love become something I love and adore, and then change into something that is decrepit because of the introduction of esports and online gaming and online public lobbyists. So as you know, I had the opportunity to be a part of something so beautiful to then watch it turn to garbage in so many ways for women and marginalized groups and all the rest of it. It was really disheartening to see something that I love fall to almost ruin, essentially, being very dramatic, of course. But I worked for a bunch of organizations that said that they had the ambition to change the industry, but ultimately failed to do anything. So, about a year and a half ago or a year ago, before I reached out to Steph, I said, I'm tired of being quiet on the sidelines. I want to do something bigger. I want to do something better for the community that I love. So then I reached out to Steph, and our worlds collided, and everything took shape. So I'll let her tell her.
I'll take you more on the content side and the personal side. So that's kind of where I come in, because I obviously, as I said, I play Call of Duty for a living, and I make content on people bashing me in video games and harassing me, and then me talking back and standing up for myself, my friends, whoever I'm playing with. Obviously, I don't start it, but I finish it, as everybody says. And so the inspiration behind the words itself, rights to unmute, is I encourage people to unmute their mics. I want you to be able to stand up for yourself, even if you're bad at the game, if you don't know how to play. Just laughing or saying anything in your defense kind of puts a shock to the crap talkers. Are we allowed to curse in this? I don't know if I can say shit. Shit.
Yeah,
okay. So I'm not going to be like going crazy. I'm just saying the shit talkers, because that's what we call it, And so I want people, anybody, to just talk back, stand up for yourself. If all you can do is laugh in their face, that's what I encourage you to do. And so with my content, I revolve it around talking back, not starting it, but finishing it. And that's kind of where the rights to unmute evolved. Krista actually came with the name. She read my thoughts. Like, I swear. Like, she was like, hey, I want to name it rights to. I'm like, no, you did not just say that. Like, I was like, that is perfect, because that is exactly what I stand for and what I encourage with my content.
And to piggyback on that, 59% of women mute their microphones or alter their voice in voice chat because they're afraid of harassment and discrimination. So like Steph said, her platform is to encourage people to unmute their mics. And, we want to change that statistic. We're tired of, joining a lobby and not realizing that there's so many more women and marginalized groups in the gaming space, but they're too afraid to speak up, because they're afraid of what will happen when they do. So.
Mm-hmm.
Even my wife has experienced quite a bit of it because she's gotten into streaming, and obviously the harassment happens most often in the first-person shooters, in the Minecraft world and Ark and things like that. Not so much, but first-person shooters have been really rough over the time, and so she's not afraid to speak out, because she definitely does, and she will tell you her opinion, which I'm really happy that she does. But she still doesn't have the confidence to turn on the camera because she's afraid of the harassment that she will get from
That's a big thing
doing
too.
that,
Mm-hmm.
which is sad that she even has to worry about that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And
the fact that you have to worry about that is crazy, because let's be real. A guy is not going to come up to you in person and start talking about the way you look. No, like, they don't have the confidence to do that unless they're anonymous online.
And just magically all of a sudden they have the confidence to say that, and then they say a whole bunch of things that are just ridiculous. Like, what the heck are you even thinking?
Yeah.
All the decency just goes out the window. They don't even care what it makes them look like on the other side.
Yeah, it's crazy. And some of the stuff they say, and they go above and beyond as well. Also, if my mic is cutting out at all, let me know.
So far, clear as day.
Okay, making sure, because I can turn it up. For some reason, Zoom does that. You can take that out if you want, but I mean, I just didn't see my camera queuing up. Yeah, I just didn't see my camera like going green, so I was just making sure it was catching everything.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a delay up there.
Okay.
All right, so for our second question, how did the name Rights to Unmute come about, and what does it symbolize for your organization? So you had a little bit of the answer there already, but let you hit it dead on now.
I mean, yeah, rights to unmute, the words speak for itself, like you should be able to unmute and not worry about being harassed all the time. So that's where rights to unmute came about. And it symbolizes, as if you look on Krista's sweatshirt right now, the microphone. And if you look at the microphone, phone, be loud. We want you to talk. We don't want you to be afraid to speak up for yourself, stand up for one another. And I mean, yeah, like with my content, I'm used to it at this point. When I first started streaming, I didn't know how bad it was, and now I've kind of adapted and I've learned like the ways of the gaming scene that, and I've developed ways to get creative about it. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, Steph, like I don't understand how you come up with these like comebacks on the fly, or like I don't know what to say," or I'm like, anything. Like it does not matter. You can just say they're ass at the game and it'll get to them, or are you mad? And a lot of people have started writing down my comebacks to use in lobbies. I'm like, do that. Like have a list next to you. Like you can say anything off it. I do that sometimes. Like I'll come up with like, I mean, I don't do it a lot, but if I'm making like planned content, I'll write down some things that I have planned for the stream. Like for example, like wholesome, I do wholesome comebacks. I try to be as nice as possible, and I'll write down like funny, like wholesome I'm like, do something like that, but just be loud, like speak up, do something. Or if you see your friends or your teammates being harassed, like standing up for that one person getting harassed would probably mean the world. And so that's kind of like what it symbolizes.
Mm-hmm. And to add on again on the business side of it, so I'm very business side.
Good, please.
Our platform also is, yes, to be loud in game lobbies, be loud wherever we are, but also be loud to the game companies. So when I pitch us to whoever, you know, we are data-driven candor. That's how we approach everything. So everything that we have has some sort of statistic to back up why we're being loud about something else. So we're not going to shy away from the hard conversations. We're not going to silence ourselves for the gaming companies who, yes, sure, we need the financial backing of, but if they're doing something wrong, they need to know about it. And we can't be afraid to not appease them because they are the ones who are essentially, you know, driving the industry. So we don't care who we make enemies with along the way. We're never going to say something that isn't factual. We'll never be offensive, but when something isn't right, we're definitely going to speak up about it, and you're going to hear us.
And that's huge. That's one thing with gaming companies nowadays, or orgs doing exactly what we're doing. They're trying to be too brand friendly with everyone. Like we're not going to, as she said, not say something that's not factual. But if they are doing something wrong, we will call them out. Krista, if you want to talk about what you did for DreamHack, that one's pretty cool.
Sure. I mean, it was kind of weird how it came about, but I was interviewed by a journalist in Sydney, Australia. So if you didn't know, the platform Kick is an Australian company. So they did this whole write-up about Kick and how live streaming is not good for the world. That's not good for society. So DreamHack Melbourne happened. There was a lot of controversy surrounding IRL streaming. And there was a lot of people taking liberties and basically being really disruptive during the event. And after that came out, I was interviewed by this journalist for the Sydney newspaper, and he asked me personally what I felt about Kick, and I said it's a playground for degenerates, like legitimately what it is, and that was the title of the article. So not only 24 hours after that did the Kick company itself reach out to us and say, "Wait a second, who are you? Why are you saying these things?" And the most shocking thing to me was that they came to me and said, "Well, how do we fix it?" So that was quite literally the point. So when DreamHack Dallas was the next event coming up, they had said, "We had a very bad experience with IRL streaming in Melbourne. We need IRL policies. How can we fix it?" I wrote them a whole thing and I said, "These are the things that you can implement in the event space." And they copy pasted it, and it was all over DreamHack Dallas. And from my understanding, there was little to no incidents of IRL streaming. But that's literally the platform that we have. So it's be loud, get noticed, make change, but, you know, not shy away from the harsh reality of how things are.
At DreamHack, I think I heard a little bit about your ambassador program. I'd be interested to know a bit more about how it works.
Sure. Steph, do you want to take that, or do you want me to take it?
You can start. I'll bounce off you.
Okay. So the ambassador program is currently it's like-minded streamers who are out there who are looking to spread the same message that we are, who have the same values, who have the same mission, who really align with what we stand for, whether that's in their content or maybe they're a content creator who supports streamers and gives them education and, does so many different things. But essentially, they are people that have a platform that they can use to help, share our mission currently. So that's in a nutshell, that's essentially what that is.
I mean, it's like-minded, like it's huge. Like me, I'm a content creator myself, so I could be considered an ambassador as well. So we want content creators like me that can put the message out there. Especially one big thing is be loud, be active with your socials, like all of them. Like we can't pick up people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have the same like-minded mindset and they want to be an ambassador for us. Like, great, we would love to bring you on, but we don't want anyone to feel like a number either. Like, we want to bring on people that spread the same message and that we can help out. Like, we want to give them tips and tricks, especially since I'm a full-time content creator as well. I want to be able to help them out on how to grow, on what to do. And morals wise, obviously, they have to match us, but it's like within the ambassador program, great, you're helping us out and you're helping grow Rights to Unmute and you're representing us. That's amazing. But at the end of the day, with these creators, I myself and our team, we want to help them do better and do more. So there's more than just like repping us. Like, yeah, they're doing charity streams for us. That's great. But we want to help them at the end of the day as well.
But if we also help grow them, then they get to amplify our message more as well, because it's just a additive, cumulative thing where you just keep growing your own brand by supporting these people and making sure that they get to spread the mission the best they can.
And could you tell me a bit more about the sort of programs that you guys run with them, focused around inclusivity and respect?
Yeah, I mean, we don't currently have any educational pieces around inclusivity and respect at the moment. However, on our platform, we do have an education kind of course section that we're in the process of putting together. But currently, when it comes to educational programs and things like that, we have a very interesting, I want to say, not opportunity, but we have a very interesting take on what it takes to be a creator in this space. So obviously anybody who's in our community is like-minded at this point. We haven't come across anybody who has said anything out of pocket. But so my side, again, like I come from the marketing world. I work specifically with influencers. Like my job prior to my current position actually was working for one of the biggest marketing agencies in gaming in the world, finding and sourcing influencers for campaigns with the biggest IPs, the biggest brands in gaming, and putting the right people in the right places. So from that point, I had a very interesting opportunity to then take the people I wanted to see propel the industry forward and put them in the right places. Currently, in my position now, I still have the opportunity to do that, but we offer potentially paid opportunities for some of our creators, but we also know what's happening in the industry. We have such a finger on the pulse and what is taking place, what's changing, best practices, all of that kind of stuff. We have the ability to kind of share that information. Not only that, but, again, it's a community at its core. So, we offer like editing and things like that. If you need an editor, we can suggest one for you. It's very close knit, but the biggest value add that we would have definitely would be the potential paid opportunities. I constantly post in like the paid gig section, because if something comes across my desk and I don't have a creator that can fill it, I'm like, I wonder if anybody can use that opportunity here. But again, like the connections we have with the main companies like Meta and TikTok and all of them, we have representatives that we speak to on a daily basis that let us know what's changing, what's happening. So we give basically insider information to our community to help them use that to help them grow.
And I have the TikTok side.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have more than just the TikTok side.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm huge on the TikTok side. That's like my main platform, and I have a ton of connections. So that's nice, like within this industry, and especially getting ambassadors. Like at the end of the day, I'm also a content creator and I'm trying to help these guys grow alongside with me. Like we're building a community here as well. It's not just like use them or get something out of them. Like, I'm genuinely, the reason for starting what I do and starting Rights to Unmute is because I have this incredible community, and I wanted to do more than just sit in front of a screen at the end of the day. I wanted to go out in the world and be able to make more of a difference than just sitting and yelling at fragile people on Call of Duty, you know?
As fun as it might be.
Yeah, like, I want to do more. So my background, funny enough, is I have a biology degree, and I was planning to become a veterinarian. And then I kind of U-turned my life around and started streaming and gaming. And so, like, my mindset is like the next thing, like, what more can I do? How can I succeed more? How can I excel? And how can I bring others with me? And same, thankfully, with my boyfriend, Adam Poe. He is our CFO. Right. Yeah. CFO. Yeah. All these titles. I love them. I'm a content creator. But he has the same mindset as well. He wants to do more than just sit behind a screen at the end of the day. He's the one that's been like, we bounce off each other like crazy. We wanted to start an org, and then Krista came along, and that's just how it like went from there.
Awesome. So how does your unique social platform work to expose and discourage harmful behavior in the gaming communities?
Mm-hmm. So with the platform, Krista's going to go into the nitty gritty details, but what I really encourage with it is we have the red flags and we have the green flags. So obviously on my social media, it's covered in the red flags because it's just so much of it. Like, it's endless content. Like, if you see my files, it's so much that there's a majority of it I can't even use. Well, I can use it, but I'm trying to find the unique because I'm a content creator, but there is so many red flags in this gaming space. It's insane. So with our platform, we want to put that out there, and we want to show what it's actually like. With a lot of platforms nowadays, you get suppressed or you have to hide what's actually going on. Otherwise, you got the community guidelines for every you can at risk of losing your account if you post what's truly happening. So you have to censor everything, which is boring. And I hate that. I hate that about TikTok. I hate that about Instagram, Facebook, whatever. If I post what's truly being said, I'll get punished for it, especially in Call of Duty. If I talk smack back and they report me, I get punished for it. So with Rights to Unmute, we have obviously the red flags and green flags, but we also want to promote what is true. We want to give the true backbone of what's going on. We want to show what it's really like, and we want to be out there. We want to be loud. I'm tired of like all these people making all these changes, but not actually showing what's truly being said. And so what I want to do with Rights to Unmute, what we are doing is showing what it's like. We're putting content out there of what is actually being said, the worst of the worst. You know, you get me? I'm trying not to like say the worst of the, like, not say it, but like say what's being said because it's very graphic. But I feel like it shouldn't be normal. Like, there should be some legal consequences to some of the stuff they're saying, especially the insane harassment. Like, my birthday this year, I got doxxed for 3 hours. Last year, my parents got swatted. So it's just like, I was doing a birthday stream. I played a game of Call of Duty and I beat them in game. And then they went at me for weeks on end and went at my parents. I'm like, it shouldn't be normalized. So obviously that's a red flag side. And then Krista, you go into the green flags and all that with our social. I'll get passionate. I'll go on and on.
You're fine.
Oh, pisses me off.
I'll backtrack a little bit. So our community has two facets to it. So we built a social platform. So if you go to unmute.gg, you can join the social community, which is essentially a platform that functions similar to Facebook. So you can join, you can add friends, you can make groups, you can join groups, all that. And in the groups, we have the burn book, which is the red flag. So that's what Steph was talking about. We encourage people to post their authentic, unedited clips, obviously with trigger warnings, because we know that it gets very, very intense. And with those things in the burn book, our goal there is to put the people who are acting outrageous on blast. You're speaking this way in a public lobby, you deserve to be outed. We then take that content with the poster's permission, of course, whether or not they want their name in it. We will repurpose it and we will put it on our social platforms to amplify it. And then on the flip side, we do have the green flags as well. So when we were at DreamHack, we were giving away green flags. So we want to highlight and celebrate the people who are allies and who have stood up for us and who have the same ideals, and those who tell the disgusting people on the internet that they are not okay, that what they're doing is wrong. You have no idea the impact it is to have someone you don't know tell someone who's being outrageous to shut up. Like, it gives you such a great feeling, like such a boost of dopamine. It's like, oh my God, thank God. So we want to highlight and celebrate those people. So that is something, in the community that are two main pillars, if you will, for how advocacy is something that we use there.
And obviously, with adding a little onto that, what sucks with this space now, like posting wholesome people doesn't get you very far. Yeah. So yeah, there's green flags and there's people standing up for one another, but those clips will usually do pretty well because people are like, oh, like you don't see that. Like basic human decency, we're all like, oh my God, he actually responded. I'm like, it should not be like normal. Like the fact that we're sitting here like geeking over someone saying, I'm good, how are you? Just like that basic sentence. I'm sitting behind my screen like, he's being decent. What's going on? But what sucks even with that, what goes viral nowadays is that the red flags. I mean, I don't mind because difference from now and like 3 years ago, if I posted the red flags on social media, I would get hate. They'll call me a snowflake or say I'm soft and I can't handle it. So we have progressed in the last 3-4 years. I'll be honest with you, a lot more. But it's still not where it needs to be right now. Thankfully, I'm getting a lot of love and like, I don't know how you deal with it. Like, help me. Like, I appreciate your confidence and it gives me confidence. So obviously that's great. And I'm really happy that we're finally starting to see that some of the stuff that's being said, it shouldn't be normal. Shouldn't be normalized.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait for the day where you actually have no content to post. You know what I mean?
My career. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what I mean? Though, but
what's funny is because we're so not used to seeing the decency come up in the chat that it's almost like people don't know what to do with it if it's just something that was put out there that was nice. Mm-hmm. Like I've seen Rom Girl put on there, it's like, yeah, good luck and have fun, everyone. Mm-hmm. And people respond to that like, no. Like, what?
Yeah. Well, Steph will trigger an entire lobby just by saying, hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
That's so all mad. She has to say.
But what's crazy though? Okay, it's because I have a high-pitched voice. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, Adam, or my boyfriend Adam, I'll be like, hey, you should say, hey guys, how you doing? Same thing. And he'll say it and they'll be like, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm like, what? The double standards, they're insane.
So in what way does Right to Unmute engage in like advocacy to like support women and marginalized groups in the gaming industry?
Yeah, I mean, just like what we said, what we do in the red flags is that we take that and we publish it. And we're happy to be the person or the people that get, the negative attention, right? If we're happy to post on your behalf, and the more people do that, the more it'll resonate, the more other people will do it. So currently that's our stance. Again, be loud, do everything you can to unnormalize the normalized hate that happens. And the more you speak out, the easier it'll become. So that's pretty much our stance currently. And it's funny because a lot of people come to us and say, oh, well, it's about women. And sure, a big part of our community is women, but racism is huge in online gaming. Mm-hmm. The amount of racial slurs that are said on a daily basis is outlandish. Anybody in the LGBTQ community, they're afraid to unmute their microphones because they're afraid of being targeted. Heck, people are even afraid to have feminine looking usernames because they don't want to be targeted by people. But the more we speak out and the more that we yell for them, hopefully, at least our plan is that it'll become less normal and more normal to speak out.
The amount of times I've had like viewer days on my streams and I've had women viewers join with the name Joe and Chad just because they don't want to be targeted. I'm like, that's so sad. Like the fact that you can't even put what you want your username to be just so you have to avoid getting harassed. Like, I understand. Okay, so one big thing that we haven't brought up just yet, we're not trying to cancel toxicity whatsoever in gaming. There's a difference between toxicity and harassment. So there's a line. There's a very fine line with what you can say and what you can't say. What you can say and what you can't say. I did say that. I don't know if I so with my content, I am toxic. I have good game banter. I come with creative ways to, you know, talk smack back, and that includes their moms and their dads and descriptive details of, you know, maybe I'll give them a son they actually love kind of thing. And so, like, we're not discouraging you from being toxic whatsoever. Like, game banter is fun. At the end of a long day, you want to come home and release some stress. You know, you're not going to jump on the game and be like, "Hi guys, how you doing today?" Like you don't. Nobody's going to want to do that. But it doesn't have to lead to harassment just because you lost at a video game. That's where the line is like, all right, like you don't need to go out of your way to find this person's stream and then be in their stream and harass them, or find their social medias and talk about their looks. And like, that's just cringe, you know. It's just, you would never do that in person. Like, imagine saying the stuff you do to your mom or your boss or a friend. Like, that is not happening. So
Yeah, it can be hard, definitely. On a happier topic, would you guys have any examples of success stories or impactful moments that demonstrate the effectiveness and advocacy of your programs?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke about one already in terms of Kick and DreamHack. Again, we've really only been around since February. So the fact that we've had this much traction in less than 6 months is wild. To be able to be sitting in the room with some of the biggest gaming companies and leading them in private discussions on how to combat all of these things. And not only that, but, you know, having the opportunity to literally have our guidelines posted throughout one of the biggest conventions of the year, I think is a huge win for us and the industry as a whole.
I mean, I also think just DreamHack in general. I mean, the amount of people that came up to us, whether it was business partners or just random people walking by and came up and talked to us and asked about us, and were just genuinely surprised we existed, surprised that, you know, some of the stuff that was posted on our panels, and just wanting to be supportive of what we were doing and what the cause we were, just to have that instantaneous positive feedback over and over and over and over again all weekend is just I mean, I think that is probably about as anecdotal and as positive as you can get.
yeah, it's surreal. I didn't expect like the love we received to be this immense, you know. Like, I didn't expect it to resonate with this many people and this many brands and organizations. Like, they're like, we needed this, and we needed it more than what others have been doing. Like, people were just trying to create family friendly communities. Like, it's not going to happen within the gaming space and the social media space. Like, everybody was trying to be too brand friendly and perfectionist about every post they were putting out. Like, I hit up Krista. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I tweet this? She's like, go for it. And it's like somebody absolutely harassing me. And then I'm like, okay, cool. I just wanted to show everybody like what it's truly like. So it's just like doing something different, something unique, you know, to really bring out what we're doing. Because at the end of the day, in order to make a difference and do something online, you have to be out there. Obviously, like, you have to be careful in a sense, but you have to be out there. It's so important with this because it's so saturated. You have to do something that goes above and beyond.
That being said, we also do love safe space communities.
Yeah.
That we're talking with, especially right now.
Oh my god. No, we don't. Hey, if anybody says something whack, they're out immediately. My community is 100% a safe space. We want everybody to feel comfortable. But what I was implying is that, like, for us to be known and for you to join our safe space, we need to show you what it's like and what we're dealing with. Like, hey, like, you're dealing with this too. Come join us. Like, we're here and we won't be like them. Mm-hmm. So obviously, yes, we're safe space, 100%. We're building an amazing community.
I just wanted to give you shit.
Yeah. I'm Norwegian. I have an excuse to mismatch my words a little bit.
Oh, I'm going to be in Norway at the end of the month.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Wait, where in Norway?
Oslo for a friend's wedding.
Oh, nice. Oh my God. I'm from Bergen. Bergen.
I think I've heard that name before.
Yeah,
My
it's like
Norwegian
Oslo,
geography is
Bergen,
terrible.
and Trondheim and Stavanger are like the 4 main cities that everybody knows. So Bergen's like the other big one, and then Oslo. That's cool. How long are you gonna be there for? Sorry, to go off topic.
Probably around a week. Not sure
Okay,
yet.
not a lot of people know Norway, so they're like, who? Where? I'm like,
yeah. It's a nice place. It's a lovely place.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So something that a lot of charities have trouble with is metrics. Do you guys have any techniques, or how do you go about trying to ascertain like how effective you're being, and what you're like, how much of an impact you're making on the space?
Sure. I'll jump in on this one real quick.
She's good at this.
What I always find absolutely mind-blowing. Well, not only was DreamHack an eye-opening experience in terms of the amount of support that we got and all of the messages saying how much we were needed in the space, but when we first launched Rights to Unmute, Steph announced it on her stream, and she was like hyping it up for a week and was like, everybody has to come to my stream. We're announcing something big. So when we finally announced it, they broke my website with the amount of people that went to it. And I was panicking because I was like, oh, this should be fine. No, it wasn't. The entire thing blew up because of all the people trying to register at the exact same time. Within the first week of us launching our website, we had over 1,000 members sign up. We had over 200 ambassador applications. We also have something on our website called, it's a harassment report. So if you're playing a game and you don't want to post a clip, you don't want to be very specific or, put anybody on blast like publicly, you can submit a private form that goes to us directly that outlines all the different types of harassment. Everything we do is data driven. So when it comes to KPIs and all of the data that we collect, an increase in harassment form submissions on a daily basis would be a very big indicator of how we're doing and how people are reacting to what we're doing. Not only that, but we also do co-ed tournaments because we want to normalize everybody playing together. Men and women and non-binary people, everybody needs to play together. The future is not male, the future is not female, the future is non-binary. There's no reason that men and women and non-binary folks cannot play together. And the fact that the gaming industry is like, oh, well, let's separate it and do all women's tournaments. It's like, sure, great, stepping stone, sure. But at the end of the day, it's not going to push the needle. It's only going to separate us. So we push for co-ed tournaments. So active participation in our tournaments as well is a huge indication of our success. The amount of companies reaching out to us in our inbox saying, we want to learn more, how can we help, is a huge indicator of us doing the right thing and being on the right path. So there's so many different avenues that we can quantify our success. And it all comes down to data. You know what I mean? Like I said, we're very data driven. Everything we do is data. So the more we collect, the more we understand, and the more we're able to take that data and shove it into the faces of the gaming industries, to gaming companies rather, who ultimately are the ones who are in charge of changing everything.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the biggest challenges Rights to Unmute faces in the fight against online harassment and discrimination?
The non-believers.
Yeah, the people that call us snowflakes and say, oh, you wouldn't have survived the MW2 days. Or
I love that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you got to evolve. Like, come on.
The people that say that it is just the way it is and it's always been like that, or the people who just dismiss it as normal, people that dismiss it in general, because whether or not they've experienced it or they just don't care, they are just complicit in having it stay the way it is or even get worse. That's the biggest barrier. To be honest, the gaming companies at the end of the day don't care because it's all about making money. But what's funny to me is that they don't realize that 50% of their fan base or their players are women. So like they're literally alienating half of their population by not helping. And it goes a lot deeper than that, but it's ultimately getting the gaming companies to actually give a damn, because they don't.
I mean,
And
I
it's
go
go.
ahead, Steph.
No, you go.
I mean, I think the other thing that's also important to think about is, you have a minority that's very, very vocal negatively and a minority that's vocal positively. And there's a lot of people that just sit there and hate what they're hearing and don't do anything. And the silence is something that actually actively hurts everybody. And
Mhm.
so if you're somebody that's, sitting and hearing all these things and normally you're just like, I don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to sit here in silence. I mean, sitting in silence is actually, hurts overall what's going on. And that's something that um, is tough to combat because at the end of the day, people are playing a game and they want to enjoy it. And, they don't want to get involved. And so they just kind of sit there in silence. And I think that's something that's really tough to get over. I mean, for me personally, especially.
Yeah.
And for other people, I would assume that that's also a big hurdle.
No, like I said earlier, like um if you see someone in a lobby getting harassed, if one or two people just stand up for that person, it would probably make their entire day, like it's happened several times. The amount of times I have women or anybody come into my lobby and play with me, and then I like shit talk for them, and it's the best day of their life. And I'm like, for me, it's just every day. I'm used to it at this point. I'm used to getting harassed, but then for me to be able to stand up for them playing with me, they're like, it's so much fun playing with you. You just gave me the confidence to like do it for someone else. And the thing is, if everybody was doing that actively, it would make a hell of a difference. It really, really would.
We've hit on this one a little bit. This is definitely a tough one. How do you address that fine line between competitive banter and, harassment, hateful speech in the gaming communities and the industry?
Yeah, I mean, the line is pretty clear. Toxicity, like Steph said, toxicity is not something we're trying to eliminate. Toxicity is fun. Telling somebody that they're dog water at a game is hilarious because they are. But when you start bringing in personal attributes of someone that you're playing with, just because of the sound of their voice, their username, all the rest of it, that's when it becomes a problem. Call someone bad at a game all you want. Like, go for it. Keep it on the gameplay. You can't start talking about and making fun of who somebody is as opposed to how they're playing.
And there's also, you can get creative with it. Like with toxicity, like when I am toxic, I'm very generalized. I don't make it personal whatsoever. I come up with creative ways to or I come up with, like, let's say they say something about my parents, I will say something funny back about theirs, because it's already that line right there. He's going at mine, I go at his. But obviously, I'm not making it personal. It's just entirely generalized. You don't have to focus on someone's attributes and go at that. That's where the line is. And that's where it sucks. Like, you hear a woman's voice, you're going to start calling her fat. Okay. And you said we could curse, but I still feel like I can't. Like, like very common one I hear is fat bitch. Right. And like, you're right there. You're going at the woman's looks. Oh, you're a fat bitch. You must be 600 pounds. You must be this. You must be that. Like, they're making it personal rather than game banter, if you get me. Like, it doesn't always have to revolve around the game, which I don't always stick to the game, but I never, like, it's hard to explain, but I don't make it personal. That's the biggest thing. Just don't make it personal.
Yeah,
And
you wouldn't go into a lobby and say, wow, you sound fat.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll tell them that their parents are related, but you won't tell them
exactly.
Fat,
like, it's such a hard, there's so much to it. And there's, obviously, if we were going to go into the details and the nitty gritty of it, but that's just too hard because there's so many ways to keep toxicity fun, without pushing the line.
I think in general, people are just lazy with their insults. And if they actually use their brain and are creative, it's way more fun. And when they make those personalized attacks, it's just lacking creativity. And that really is the end of it. They just don't have a brain to actually think of something interesting and attack you personally. And
Exactly.
That's
Do
unfortunate.
you think that's like part of it is they receive the insults about their gameplay, they take it personally, and then they don't know how to respond to it, so they go to harassment?
Well, in this case, most of the time they're the initiators, at least in Steffi's content for the most part. So it's not like she's calling them bad and then they're clapping back. Most of the time, it's they're the ones initiating. So, it's not even
Yeah.
reactive.
I mean, I
Generally-
play League of Legends usually, and I had somebody in my chat, they're like, oh, wow, you must be a girl. We're going to lose. It's a handicap having a girl on your team. And I'm like, I didn't even say anything. Like, they saw my username, and that was the
Yeah.
end of it. It's
Yeah, it's tough. Like, I don't know what's going through their brain, you know. I don't know their thought process. I wish I could know. But the amount of times they just assume we're bad at the game, and I guess from the past, it's their safe space, I guess they say. Gaming is their safe space and we are not allowed in it, which is super weird. So I don't know if it's like this ego thing or it has to be, because usually I'm better than them. Like, that's why they go so crazy at me. When I lose, usually when we lose the search and destroy games, they're not as bad as when we're winning. So it has to be, it's huge on ego.
Mhm.
So we've talked a little bit about it before, but what role do you see partnerships with organizations, game companies, and influencers playing in your mission?
Yeah, I mean, influencers and all that kind of goes back into our ambassador program in terms of amplifying our mission, right? Organizations, we want to work with organizations who have a track record of being scrutinized. For example, Blizzard, right? They're constantly in the press for all the things that they do. But our mission for them is to take the data that we receive through our harassment forms and create white papers and submit it to them. And in hopes at one point in their lives, they go, wow, this is a problem. This company keeps sending us these white papers. Maybe there's something wrong. I'm sure that they all know, but they kind of turn a blind eye because, again, nobody's yelling at them to change. But the more people we have yelling, the harder it's going to be to ignore. And that's ultimately the goal of getting communities and influencers and advocates and all the rest of it on the same side as us in terms of, amplifying what we're saying.
Very true.
And how can individual gamers and the broader community support Right to Mute's goals and initiatives?
Again, as we were talking about earlier, with the helping them grow alongside us, we kind of went into details about this. The more we can do for them, the more we as rights to unmute can be, sorry, dog's going crazy. Do you hear him?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Content dog.
Xander,
Everybody loves a content dog.
Xander, stop.
Mhm.
Yeah, as I was saying, with rights to unmute, we're going to help them grow. So as a content creator, I do this full time and I want others to succeed alongside with me. Like, that's the goal. We want people to grow alongside us. That means rights to unmute is going to grow alongside them.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, you don't have to be an ambassador to help spread our mission. Like an official ambassador. In our Discord, you can find all the assets that you need to. If you wanted to add an about panel, you can add it to your Twitch. If you want to talk about us, you can read our mission statement. You can even host your own charity stream if you wanted to. We're associated with Streamlabs. You can literally find us and start your own charity if you wanted to. So not being an official ambassador doesn't limit anybody from supporting us. We encourage everybody to support us if they want to. If their mission aligns with ours, we're happy to have the support.
I mean, I would, even go to the point of, if you're an individual gamer and you like what we're doing and you want to amplify it, join our social page, join our Discord, interact with other people that are doing what we're doing, and just have more people and more interactions with each other, and just keep building off of it, and just be loud.
And be loud. And especially if you hear someone being harassed, just say something. It'll mean the world. And that's the biggest thing you can do, supporting wise.
You guys have any future goals or projects kind of in mind, or things you want to do?
There's so many things.
Yeah.
So many.
We have a new idea every other day.
Yeah. Right now, like, we're really focusing on going to TwitchCon as well as a team. So that's one big thing coming up. And then host more tournaments. There's so much. And we just started. So
Yeah.
like we just started. So there's so much we still have to do. There's still so much we have to grow on and learn, obviously. But Krista, if you want to take more on the future.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that we've thrown around was, we're building an app currently for our social platform because who uses desktop anymore, right? So we're working on that for our community. That's something that's an actual goal that we're striving for. TwitchCon is another. Something that we've just briefly spoken about was the potential for some sort of integration with a tech company to kind of create an AI moderation platform for gaming companies to utilize. That would in real time flag racism and misogyny and all the rest of it. Again, long-term goal. So we just started. We were even talking about Twitch plugins that could moderate streams. There's so many different avenues that we'd love to go down and entertain if we have the ability to.
So how do you envision the online gaming environment kind of evolving over the next 5 years? And kind of what role do you guys see yourself in during that time?
I would love to see more diversity in the biggest streamers on the platforms. So something that bothers me a whole lot and that helps perpetuate the negative narrative that goes on in the gaming industry is the fact that the people at the top streamers, the people who have 20,000 CCV and all the rest of it, all of these people, their content is shockworthy and they have no accountability for anything that they say or do. So they're people who follow them think it's okay to act as they do. So when they say things that are terrible and they don't get in trouble for it, they believe that it's okay to act that way. So then they act that way to people in general. I want to see a shift. I want to see within the next 5 years more diversity, not only in esports, but in streaming. I want to see the top streamers be people of color. I want to see more women. I just want to see good people that deserve to be recognized for the great people that they are. And fangirling over somebody because they made 20,000 followers by sucker punching somebody in the street, that's not something we should be, whatever, rewarding, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't be the top content, Like one big one that I really look up to is Sweet Tales. If you guys know her. And like she's absolutely killing the game, and I want to see more of that. Like her content is funny. She's funny. Like the content that we are making big right now is not funny. I watched some of the streamers. I'm not going to name names, but I've sat in there for about 20 minutes. And you know what the TTS, so you know how they do TTS and it's like out loud? Like you'll pay like $1 to send a message out loud. It was absolutely degrading the women. It was horrible. 20,000 viewers and it was just nonstop. She's ugly. She's a whore. She's a fat bitch. And they're at chats like dying laughing, like keep going. And she's just sitting there like, I remember this. She was just sitting there kind of like awkward. I think she took about 30. She's stood strong. I would have left immediately. I've been like, yeah, I'm out. She stayed around for like 30 minutes. And then she stood up. She's like, I don't get why I'm here. Like, I'm just being degraded right now. And I don't like it. And he was like, no, you're fine. They're just joking. She ended up leaving, thankfully, proud of her. But he came back. He's like, Chad, like, you can't go that bad. But not gonna lie, it was kind of funny, wasn't it? I'm like, yeah, there it is. Like, that's like content. I'm like, it's not like, it's not like sitting and degrading a person is not content. Like, be yourself, find humor. Like with Sweet Tales, she's amazing. I was gonna bring up another streamer, but he just kind of went crazy. Used to look up to him, so I can't anymore. Like Tim the Tap Man, he's a great guy. Like he actually makes funny content. Like it's entertaining and it's not sitting and bashing a group of individuals. Like that's where I want to see the change. I want to see the people at the top actually being like entertainers.
Being creative.
So, being creative, entertainers. Like it's needed. And I see more of it day by day, but still the top streamers are interesting people.
And
I do
something
wanna
else, sorry, I was just gonna say, and something else it
go
would be
for it.
nice to see would just to be some accountability, some semblance of accountability.
Mhm.
You know, when platforms put together a group of guidelines, they actually follow them. You know, as a nonprofit, we're not actively allowed to lobby against certain things, but I would love to see legislation that somehow not puts some sort of tracking on somebody, but there needs to be an accountability
Mm.
aspect. It's not the Wild West. You can't just say whatever you want and not have any repercussions for the things that you say and do, especially when it comes to these like streaming platforms, because there's been a lot of negative things in terms of like, say, pedophilia, you know what I mean, on a lot of these platforms where it just gets kind of swept under the rug because 3 days later people forget about it.
And because it's online, it's
Yeah,
fine.
it's online, it's
Imagine
fine.
this happen in person. Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, it does happen in person, but it doesn't seem like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's streamed. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
There was a study. This was probably 10 or 15 years ago. I don't remember the exact numbers. So I'm just gonna like spitball it. But one of this is hysterical. One of the highest rates of violence in prison is against pedophiles.
Mm.
Like in prison, where some of the worst people are, you know, they attack pedophiles at a higher rate. But meanwhile, on an online platform, people can say what they want, and
people find it funny.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it just keeps going.
Like they have like
So-
10,000 viewers, and they're like half of them are like, yeah, keep going. I'm like,
It's sad when prison cells are doing better than streaming platforms.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, it is nuts. But I've got to say that for those of you that are listening right now, the journey to 501c3 is not an easy one. It's definitely a tough road, especially if you don't have individuals that have in the group that have done it before. It was definitely a tough one for our theory, and I'm sure it was a challenge for all of you. And it's impressive that you got through all that. And then within your first 3 months, you're already at where you are, where you had this massive growth of the website immediately right when you came online. You had an incredible booth at DreamHack. The booth was gorgeous, very professional, and your website is also very professional and looks great. And there's a very, very, very strong online presence from it. I'm looking forward to kind of see what you guys do over the future. It's really encouraging to actually see somebody kind of fighting in the same space too. So we've been in the space trying to help in these areas too, and sometimes you hit the point where it just feels like we're lonely out there. There's not enough voices, you know. So
Yeah.
it's great to know there's another nonprofit out there fighting the good fight.
I love
Definitely. You're not alone at all.
it. No one is.
Well, I want to give you all a chance before we're over here to give a shout out to your social media for both yourself individually, for people who want to be able to find you or try to get in contact, as well as the website for Unmute. We'll obviously put all that stuff down in the description of the video as well. So, Kristen,
Sure.
did you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Well, to find anything about Rights to Unmute, you can look at unmute.gg. That's our URL, and anywhere on social media at Rights to Unmute. Just as it sounds, RIGHTSTOUNMUTE. And me personally, you can find me everywhere at Kristabyte. That's KRISTABYTE, like gigabyte, but Kristabyte, you know.
I like
Clever.
it. For me, it's Steffy Evans. Can find me everywhere. Thankfully, I kept all my social medias the same. Well, thankfully it wasn't taken because it is my first and last name, so I would have been surprised. So it's Steffy Evans, STEFFYEVANS. You can find me any platform you can think of nowadays.
I do Windabur, WINDDABURR on Twitter and Twitch. And if you join our Discord, which you should, I'm Windi on there. I'm in there talking a lot usually. So, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, all of you, for being on. It's been great having a chance to chat with you and see the different perspective on how to kind of attack this harassment and everything that we're seeing going on in the industry. And I wish you all the best of success in your endeavors. And I'm looking forward to see all the amazing new projects that come up coming forward too.
I appreciate you having us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.